Greetings, Batavia Mayor Jeff Schielke speaking to you on Friday, January 21st, 2022. And I'm in some respects reluctant to make the announcement, but also I'm happy for the people that I'm going to talk about here. Next week we're going to experience 2 retirements of department heads in the city that have both done wondrous jobs. The first one that's leaving us as just a career-ending retirement is Byron Richardson down at the wastewater treatment plant. And Byron comes from a long-standing City of Batavia family. Both his father worked at the water treatment plant for a number of years, and his brother was in our electric department for a number of years. And so that is a family who has served Batavia very, very well. Byron has overseen the most recent expansion, which most of you have seen taking place down at the water treatment plant, which is on South Shumway, across the street from the former location of the Shumway Foundry. And with some expert engineering that we paid to have brought in here, and following the latest new innovative ideas in water treatment, Batavia's water treatment plant is now looked upon as the model of water treatment plants as to how all of them should be built. And the cleanliness of the water after it's been treated in Batavia is one of the highest in the region. And we are all very proud of all the things that Batavia is doing in that regards. And to a large degree, we want to thank Byron for all of his insights and his watching over of it as the whole system was rebuilt, and he had to do a lot of temporary moves of staff and actual operations to different parts of the plant. And now it's the first phase of it is complete and up and running, and we're going to be doing another phase here and not too long into the future. But as I say, we now get other cities calling up and wanting to come up to Batavia or come over to Batavia and look at our water treatment plant, because we're regarded as one of the models of excellence in that whole arena in the northern part of the state. And to a lot of the credit of that belongs to Byron. And as I say, his brother Gary was a city electrician for a number of years and served us also very well. And so it's a family that really has served, and now Byron is leaving on retirement. So we wish him the very best and thank him for his many, many years of service that he and his family have given to Batavia. And at the end of the day, what he started with is a much better run and operated place because of all the technology that we've been able to include in its operation. The other retirement we are having is Randy Dykey is retiring as our fire chief. And Randy also has done a very nice job. He was served as the deputy fire chief under Bill Darren for a number of years, and when Darren retired, Randy was promoted to the job of chief. And it was during his tenure that it fell that we went under the Insurance Services Office ratings practice to see how good our fire department really was. And every fire department in the United States is judged on a rating that goes from a 1, which is excellent, to a 10, which basically says you need to do some stuff to put yourself into real good operations. And most fire departments around us are someplace between 1 and 10. And there are a few that are number 1, and under Randy's leadership, Batavia was able to attain an ISO Class 1 rating, which I am extremely proud of, because that does have a direct impact lowering most people, specifically homeowners insurance a little bit, and as is also businesses. So because the insurance rating operation has judged us to be pretty good at what we're doing in the fire world, thanks to the leadership of Randy, everybody's insurance rate fire side probably went down a little bit. So again, to Randy, I want to offer our best wishes for a nice retirement and a big thanks for what he did to help bring to Batavia an ISO Class 1. Some of the old timers watching this will remember that we had a fire chief by the name of Bud Richter, and I worked for him as a paid-on-call fireman for many years, as some of you know. And I can remember Bud Richter saying a number of times, boy, we were always an ISO Class 5 under Chief Richter, and at the time that was considered to be a pretty good rating for a department that was both paid on call and volunteer and paid people. And Richter's great dream was that someday Batavia would have an ISO Class 1, and here we are. So Chief Richter, I'm sure, is smiling down upon us as he looks at that ISO Class 1, which we now post on all of our fire trucks that run around town. And so I'm very proud of that. And again, thank Randy for excellent years of vision and wisdom and service and dedication that allowed us to get to that point and have the rating done and find that we are, as according to the insurance world, we're about as good as you can be. So we have that to be very proud of. Just very quickly, I reiterate this almost every time I speak, but we are continuing to encourage people to wear the mask. I always take it off when I'm doing this because I've had people complain to me that with the mask on they can't hear what's being said. I get a lot of comments about that, people watching the city council meetings, and when the aldermen use their mask, people tell me that it's very difficult for some people to understand what's being said. So that's just part of the world. Again, we are still under the mask, requirement of the state of Illinois, if there is such a thing. As I've mentioned before, we are not in a legal position, so we are told that we can go in and start writing tickets to anybody that doesn't wear a mask or any business that doesn't require them or anything about it. It's just all asking everybody to be careful and not spread COVID throughout the restaurant or wherever they're at. And we will continue to have to do that until we get the all clear from the health world that it is been retreated back out of the area and we don't have COVID anymore. But unfortunately, we have had some people in Batavia die of it. Not that many, but we have had some. And so we want to do everything we can to bring down any number of that would occur. So Batavia as a community is very, very fortunate, and we are very blessed to have those working for us who work so hard to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep the COVID under control in our community. I just will offer a final observation that I think this whole thing could have been handled better, specifically by the Illinois General Assembly. There should have been some actions taken very early on about what should or should not be done, and there should have been some laws put underneath it. And I guess it's debatable how much was done, but there's a lot of court cases now where people have been charged with something about the COVID thing, and most of the charges are getting dismissed because there's no real strong state laws. So I would hope in the future that the Illinois General Assembly would review this current situation and maybe draft some laws for some emergency laws to be enacted if certain circumstances like this happen to us again. I just want to also note that it looks like we are going to be, as a community, growing. We do have out there at Wind Energy in Kirk, we've got townhouses being built by MI Homes, and there's 242 approved, and I'm led to believe there's over 150 that are in some form or fashion, some of which have been occupied. And so that's going to add some growth down on the southeast side. And over on the west side, we've approved a project out on McKee Street, just to the west of Wolcott and Trent Lanes, to kind of behind, some of it's there behind the old Sam's Club building. And there's going to be 163 single-family homes built on that location of different designs and sizes and whatever have you. Pulte Homes is doing that one. And they are submitting plans to us and road work ideas and engineering designs and everything for sewer and water and streets and sidewalks and street lights and all that good stuff. So we will be adding that. And then George Haynes, who built the area out there around the Walmart store, has brought in a proposal to build I think it's a 103 unit apartment building, which would be located on the property just immediately behind the Walmart store on Wind Energy, or not Wind Energy, Fabian Parkway and Randall Road. So, and that's there next to the Landings, which is another senior citizen retirement complex. We now have in Batavia 6 senior living communities in various styles and designs and needs. And it looks like, given the size of the homestead and some of the other ones that are here, we have probably over 2,000 senior citizens living in the senior living communities that make up Batavia. And so we welcome them, we appreciate what they represent and their talents and the ideas and support that they bring and market they bring to our town. But that is a significant number of those folks, and you need only look at the number of calls that we've experienced in the fire department ambulance area to realize how needy some of that situation is. So Batavia is very, very fortunate to have all that good stuff out there. But I am pleased if I go down and I look at the new homes that have been built over here on the east side at Wind Energy at the MI home area, and then if you go over on the west side, certainly in the Tanglewood subdivision, and then further north there along Wolcott Lane and Trent Drive, and where the two come together, that's extremely well-built facilities out there, and Batavia has over the years enhanced and continued to improve their building codes so that we have nice products for people to move into, whether they're a single or they're a family. There's multiple styles of designs in these products, and so Batavia is trying to be all-inclusive and allowing people that if anybody wants to come in and design. And I know many of those units are built without finished basements, but many people are exploring the idea of putting in a finished basement, and I certainly would encourage that, because it looks like once you finish the lower level, you probably also enhance the value of your home for its resale. And I guess the final note I want to make is, the $64 question around town is, now that Mr. Schodin has said that he cannot go forward with his project over at Washington Avenue and Wilson Street, what's going to happen next? Well, Laura Newman and myself, Laura Newman's our city administrator, we've had some initial conversations with the city council, and I think the aldermen were in agreement that what we should do is just not defer or dismiss or discourage anyone, but just take a little time here, because we do have people showing up at the doorstep, some of them very reputable builders, wanting to talk about building something new at the Schodin project. So I think something will happen there. I don't know anything about how size or design, bigger, smaller, retail, single family, multiple family, townhouses, whatever. We're gonna hear it all out, and then at some point in time, the city council, the 14 men and women that sit on that, will have to make a decision as to what they want to go. So I guess I would encourage you to, if you see your aldermen around, share with them your viewpoints on what should happen there, so that they get a feel for what the community would like to see. So I think that's going to be it for today. Again, I am very, very fortunate that I'm mayor of the town I am, and we do have some wonderful people in this town, and many of them are very, very generous, and there are a number of people I know of that are, I'll call them our guardians. They look after older people or people of elderly age, and they look after them and make sure that they have a nice meal, or they have some support, or they need some counseling, or they need to have the fire department know more about them for an ambulance service. We've got some good guardians in this town, and many of them talk quite regularly to each other on the phone at night or in the morning or whatever. So we are very, very fortunate to live in the town we are, because at the end of the day, Batavia is one town of great people. And I am very fortunate to be the mayor of this great group of folks who care so much about each other and want to make this town a better place for future generations to probably call their home. So have a good week, and I'll look forward to talking to you next week.